Well, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy JD. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've all had a great start to your weekend. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about a story, a situation that simply just does not happen, right? Everybody's making it up. It's all lies. It's a myth. Yet continually, we see story after story after story. Something just doesn't quite add up there. I don't know about you guys, but as you can see, the Daily Wire have reported a trans collegiate sprinter switches to a women's team and breaks record. Yes, we have a male athlete who used to compete against males, switches over to the women's side of things, and completely dominates. This happens a lot for something that never happens. Yeah, it does. Doesn't it? It's very odd. Very strange. Right, a transgender sprinter who formerly competed against males in high school is now competing on his college's women's track and field team, and earlier this month set a school record. Sadie Schreiner, who formerly went by Camden Schreiner, is permitted to compete with and against female track and field athletes at Rochester Institute of Technology, despite being a male. Schreiner identifies as transgender. Notably, Schreiner is now only referred to as Sadie Rose on RIT's athletics website. New school record. RIT celebrated Schreiner on its track and field Instagram page last week. So we have an institution celebrating a male breaking records in women's sports. I don't know what planet we're on. Let me know, because I'm struggling. Sophomore Sadie Schreiner set a new record in a 300-meter dash last Friday at Nazareth, clocking in a time of 41.8 seconds. The comments on the post have been turned off by the school. Well, I just can't imagine why. Why would they turn the comments off? Well, maybe because a load of people see everything wrong with this. They see this should not be happening. There should not be a male competing against women, and it shouldn't be celebrated when they break a record, because it is cheating. It shouldn't count. Common sense, right? Common sense. Yeah, something that apparently is also hard to find in today's world. And this is where it gets a bit interesting, right? Rochester radio host Boblonsbury said Schreiner would have landed in 41st place if he were still competing against males. And that's all you really have to say. The biological male finished first in the women's 300 meter at the Nazareth Alumni Invitational with a time of 41.8, which, if he'd run against other biological males, would have had him finishing 41st, second from last, 6.4 seconds behind the winner, Lonsbury posted to X, formerly Twitter. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And you can see the tweet there from Bob Lonsbury stating what I just said. Absolutely crazy to see. Social media was lit up with the reactions following Schreiner's win against the female athletes. Meet Camden, lives of TikTok, as you can see, got onto post, a male who just broke the women's 300-meter record on his college's women's track team. Before he pretended to be a woman, he competed on the men's team in high school, where he was ranked in 19th place. This is absolute insanity. Why is RIT allowing a man to steal women's track records? Well, I'll tell you why. Because we put individual feelings ahead, as I always say, as I literally said yesterday, ahead of the sport, ahead of the women who are actually competing, and we reaffirm delusion. We reaffirm how somebody else feels, and it just negatively affects everybody involved. Former collegiate swimmer turned advocate Riley Gaines, mock trans activist, claimed that transgender athletes almost never beat out female athletes, particularly after swapping male for female teams. New collegiate school record in women's 300 meter at RIT, except it was set by a male, Gaines said. This happens a lot for something that never happens. Yeah, and I can guarantee you these woke liberals, these activists will be celebrating this. Wow, what a lovely, stunning and brave woman this man is. Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. Gaines recently testified before Congress to aggressively defend Title IX, rejecting the Biden administration's proposed rewrite of the law, which would effectively broaden the definition of sex to include gender identity. The proposed changes would rewrite Title IX in such a way that policies banning biological males who identify as trans from competing with or against females would be now in violation of law. Issuing such sex distinctions to protect girls' sports, therefore, could strip a school of its funding. The rule would be applied to public K-12 schools, colleges, universities, and other institutions that receive federal funding. So essentially, the Biden administration want to make these changes so males identifying as women can compete against girls in sports, and this is how they feel towards not only sports, but obviously women. They don't care. Yet, women, especially these woke liberals, will continue to go ahead and vote for this same administration. Tell me how that makes any sense. I don't understand still at this point how there are women who defend this. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Not only do women have to worry about losing out on opportunities and being exploited in locker rooms, again, which liberals advocate for, the Biden administration want to advocate for, allowing men into women's sports also puts girls at greater risk of injury, Gaines said during her opening statement. Yeah, look, males competing against women in sports not only goes against common sense, reality, and truth, but we also think about the safety issue as well, women getting injured. We've seen it multiple times now. We've seen women get injured because a male has had his feelings reaffirmed and is allowed to compete. Yet again, as I keep saying throughout this video, this is what people will advocate for. Anyway, in September of last year, North Carolina volleyball player Peyton McNabb suffered serious injuries after a trans-identified male player spiked a ball at her head, rendering her unconscious. Peyton experienced extensive trauma to her head and neck and long-term concussion symptoms. Still to this day, a year and 3-ish months later, she is still partially paralyzed on her right side. Her vision is impaired and she isn't playing college sports like she had dreamed of. Wow. And yet again, everybody is supposed to just sit there and play along with this. Yes, this is great. This is amazing. They want people to act like seals and just go along with everything. You know, once you stand for everything, you actually stand for nothing. This is something that should not be happening. Women should not be getting injured just because a male suddenly decides, yeah, you know what, when the wind blows in a different direction, yeah, you know what, I'm a woman now and I'm going to go and compete in women's sports. Like, it's really that simple. But let's just check out some of the reaction on social media to this story. Absolutely insane. Again, it happens a lot for something that apparently never happens, right? From 19th place to breaking records. But there's no difference between men and women though, right? Yeah. And that's another thing, you know, people will say, oh, there's no biological advantage. Males don't have any physical advantages. Right. Okay, nothing will matter until the actual women in these sporting events decline to compete. Until then, they will be slowly replaced with men and there will no longer be women's sports. And that's another thing people have brought up, you know, more and more women, when they see the situation happen, or girls have to essentially say, look, we're not competing. We've seen it recently in a couple of other sports, jiu-jitsu and snooker recently. And I would even say it's just as important for men, for fathers to speak out on this issue. You know, a lot of men refrain from talking about it, but I think everybody, when they come together against this issue that is affecting sports, girls, how can there not be change, you know? I don't get how these people can even feel good about doing this or feel any sort of sense of accomplishment. Where do these people even come from? It's like they're from another planet or something. Do they truly believe that they're winners? Man, need I say more? Finally, if the school had any ounce of dignity, they would strip him of the win and all records. Well, as we go back to the article, the school are actually celebrating this achievement, and that just tells you all you need to know, right? So not only do we have people politically reaffirming this agenda, we now have parents, schools also reaffirming what is going on. It's a very tough situation for sports to be in as a whole, because, you know, not only does it first and foremost affect women, but men as well are being told to play along with this, right? They're told they have to assume, they're told that they have to believe that this is also a woman. It insults everybody's intelligence, and we are seeing good progress being made due to women like Riley Gaines and bills being signed, but I just think it needs to be across the whole board. You know, men compete against men, women compete against women. Simple solutions, right? Simple solutions, that direction. Society wants to go in the opposite direction. But leave your thoughts down below on this story. And ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this whole situation that, again, doesn't happen, by the way? It doesn't happen. What are your thoughts on this male athlete who I would have assumed didn't do too well in the men's side of things and now is doing amazingly in the women's side of things, breaking records? Again, it doesn't happen. Leave your thoughts down below. If you have enjoyed today also, make sure to leave a like rating. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. I just want to thank you all for 56,000 subscribers. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed recently. I really, really do appreciate it. But until next time, until tomorrow, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.